Okay, guys, so I'm going to make a quick video answering a question that I received on one of my previous videos about Fidelity index funds. So asked, do I invest in single or index funds? And to answer that question, I actually have both, but I basically have stocks or index funds based on kind of my goals for that specific account. So guys, I'm going to quickly go into what is the difference between a stock and an index fund. So an index fund is simply a low-cost way to basically invest in a complete basket of stocks. So one of the more popular, actually an index fund, but it functions as one. It's like an ETF, which is basically a publicly traded that you can buy as a stock. Other index funds, you can buy stock, for instance, if you wanted to buy the Fidelity Zero Index Fund, Total Stock Market Fund, you have to have a Fidelity account. So let's just use ETFs as a good example. As we see right here, we have Y, that is a very popular ETF, S&P 500. This specific security over the last 5 years, you're up 17%. So obviously not the greatest return, but it's much better than putting your money in a high yield savings account or a traditional savings account. So since interest rates are basically zero, you're basically earning nothing on a traditional savings or checking account. And with a high yield savings, you're maybe earning, if you're lucky, 2%. So you're up about 17% in this current market position. Now, if you put that same amount of money in a stock like, you'd be up over 268% over the last 5 years. And if you put that money in Amazon, you'd be up 400%. So to quickly answer your question, yes, I invest in both, but I have basically different goals. So if I'm investing in, say, a long-term retirement account where the investment horizon is more than 20 years from now, and I don't have time before I buy stocks, I use index funds. I actually use index funds for my son's UTMA account, so for his trust. I don't want to figure out which stocks I'm going to buy for him right now because he's so young, so I simply invest in FZROX, that is a free index fund. So obviously, guys, if the account is a long-term account, meaning it's going to be the next 15 to 20 years, because stocks are risky, guys. I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of people are talking about you should buy stocks and stuff like that. But remember, with great responsibility comes great risk. So obviously, stocks are risky, and we've seen a lot of stocks run up in the past, and then the shares have collapsed. So you have to be very careful when you're buying. What I would say is basically the number one question I would ask you guys is how much risk do you want to take? If you like risk, if you're younger, if you're kind of far away from retirement, you don't mind dealing with some short-term losses and things like that, go with stocks. Stocks are going to provide you the best long-term appreciation, and even there are some stocks that pay dividends. So as you guys can see, Amazon stock has done really, really well over the last 5 years. If you guys don't like risk, if you see your stock go down like 5 or 10% and you want to cry and hide away and it's giving you anxiety and stress and things like that, go with an index fund. Now what an index fund does is, since it invests in a basket of stocks, you own a little bit of every company. So you spread across lots and lots of different companies. The rewards are likely to lose money. So also, if you are closer to retirement, if you're over there, you really can't avoid to lose a lot of money in stocks. That's kind of what happened during the whole Enron problem. Enron, a long time ago, the company went bankrupt, and a lot of people who had all of their retirement money invested in Enron stock, they lost everything. So that's an example where if you're over 50 or something like that, if you're close to retirement, stocks can be too risky. You should be mostly bonds and index funds. Index funds are great for people, older people who have been working for a while, and you still want to earn a return on your investment, but you don't want risk, guys, because you don't want to be 60 years old, you're about to retire, and then all of a sudden you put your money in a certain stock and it collapses, and now you've lost the majority of your retirement savings. You can't afford to do that. You want to enjoy your retirement, and you need to have a nice nest egg that you want to do in your retirement, whether you want to travel or sitting your home. And you've worked long enough, you deserve to have that choice. So I would lean towards index funds. And the third scenario would be if you're setting up an account for your child or something like that. If you're setting up a trust or something like that, you're setting up a 529 savings account, then I would probably recommend index funds. Now, if you guys have the time to do research out there, then you can obviously put you put your kid in like Apple stock or Amazon stock, and that's probably a good idea as well. But I err on the side of conservative because since that child has such a long time frame for the account to grow, you're going to do pretty well with index funds. And even Warren Buffett himself, he said when he passed away, he wants to put about 90% of his wealth in index funds, 10% of it in bonds, because obviously at that point he wants to preserve that wealth for his kids and their kids and so on and so on. So guys, I hope that answered your question. If you like risk, if you want the greatest return, if you're more conservative, preserve your capital, you want to preserve that nest egg that you built up, go with index funds. And if you have children, you can go with index funds. It's kind of a set it and forget it thing. You just put money into the kids' index fund every month and you go on about your business. It's just kind of set it and forget it. So that's it for now, guys. I hope you enjoyed that answer to that question. If you guys have any more questions, be sure to leave them in the comments to do my best to answer them with a video. And have you gotten your free stocks yet? You can get a free share of stock if you sign up for Robinhood and 2 free for Webull. You open an account and deposit any amount. You guys can find those links in the description. So until next time, guys, take care.